This session is not like other talks about diets that exploit your struggles and promise quick fixes. We're going to delve into the important topic of fat loss and its amazing potential to improve brain and metabolic health. In midlife, we reach a crucial point where we need to establish a strong foundation to protect our well-being and thrive in the future. Hi, I'm Barbie Boules, an expert in midlife health and nutrition, and I've helped hundreds of women achieve health in midlife and beyond. I've created a session for you called Fat Loss in Midlife because I know many women struggle with this specific issue during this stage of life. So it's time to separate fact from fiction and embark on a journey of sustainable fat loss that truly improves our lives. Together, we'll explore whole health-focused approaches that take care not only of our physical well-being, but also our mental and emotional health. It's about nourishing ourselves from the inside, adopting a lifestyle that promotes balance and vitality. So, a common issue among women in midlife is fat gain, particularly intra-abdominal fat gain, that belly fat that may be new for us. And I specifically say fat gain because weight gain, weight loss can mean something different. When we lose weight, just weight, we can also be losing muscle mass, which we don't want to do. We can also be losing fluid. We want to be losing fat and increasing muscle mass. So that's what I help women do. And it's a little different than just the traditional approach of being thinner, which only requires a calorie deficit. When we want to improve body composition and overall health, it's a little bit of a different strategy. We want to make sure we're getting enough protein. We want to make sure we're strength training. We want to make sure we're getting enough sleep. So part of the reason for this is not merely the aesthetic. I want to make that point very clear. Obviously, we want to look and feel our best in our clothes, but this is really important because that intra-abdominal fat can become an issue for so many women. Sets us up for metabolic disease risk. So that belly fat creates inflammation that can put us at an increased risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, and dementia. So we want to be very high blood pressure. We want to be very careful of that belly area, while also making sure we're being mindful about our mental health and not going after unrealistic goals or goals that are being dictated to us by society or someone in our lives. We want to make sure that we are very comfortable with our bodies and where we want to be and how we look and feel. But taking the approach of, I want to improve the health of my brain is generally has a kind of a domino effect on everything else, including fat loss. Fortunately, the science behind fat loss is incredibly simple. And although people really hate this term, calories in, calories out, otherwise known as energy balance, it really is human biology 101 and an unavoidable fact that in order to lose fat from our bodies, we have to create a calorie deficit. In other words, consuming fewer calories than our body needs to expend in order to function. So we want to be sure that we are creating a healthy, sustainable calorie deficit. We don't want to be doing something for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months, ending right back where we were. This is part of the reason that a lot of people will say diets fail. Often they do because they are overly ambitious and we are expecting weight or fat that we have spent 3 to 5 years gaining. We're expecting it to come off in 3 to 5 months. And fat loss doesn't work like that. A slow, steady approach of about a half a pound a week is the amount that is associated with the best sustainability and preventing muscle loss, which is what we want to be really careful about. If we are losing weight at a very rapid rate, we are probably also losing muscle mass, which is antithetical to good health. So very slow, strategic caloric deficit needs to be created, maybe a couple hundred calories a day. Ideally, we're doing this with a combination of perhaps pulling back a little bit on calories and pushing forward a bit with exercise or NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is just generally moving around, taking the stairs, cleaning your house, washing your car, even standing in the kitchen to cook in the evening. This burns calories, and we lose a lot of that NEAT in midlife. We tend to sit more. So pulling back a little bit on calories, expending a little bit more energy, slowly and steadily. Give it a year's time, or at least give it twice as many weeks as you have weight to lose. So if you feel like you have 20 pounds to lose, give it 40 weeks. Just a very consistency, patience, and self-compassion are the key. So calories in, calories out is the foundation. That said, it's not the whole story. It's not difficult to create a calculation and figure out where you can pull back and add exercise. What's difficult is creating a life that allows that to happen on a consistent basis over time so that you can be successful, not just in the next 6 weeks, but forever. So things that get in the way are job stress, relationship stress, your children's needs, caregiving, anything in your life that might interrupt good sleep, the time or energy to exercise, the time or energy to go shopping and cook yourself a decent meal. So no one is saying it's easy. The calculation part, the calories in part is simple, but the follow through over time is what's difficult and trips a lot of people up. There are several problems with quick approaches to weight loss. First and foremost, just being its effect on your health. Ideally, we're not just losing fat. We're improving our health, gaining muscle, getting enough antioxidants, getting enough fiber, improving the health of our brain, improving our energy, improving our sleep quality. If these things aren't happening, it's not a healthy approach. And generally, when we're radically shifting what we're doing to create this massive calorie deficit so that we quickly lose weight, we're not really getting healthier. We might be getting smaller, but we're not improving our health. We're also not learning habits that we're going to be able to still be doing a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. So it's really that slow, steady approach, being patient and self-compassionate. As I said before, give it a year's time. Give it a half a pound a week. That is success. 0 pounds per week is success. If the next couple of weeks you maybe see some advancement there. Plateauing is not a big deal. Keep going. Don't give up. Fat loss rather, is not linear. It's not this perfect little descending line. It goes like this a bit, especially in the beginning. And there are fluid issues as well, fluid retention. The scale is going to go up and down and up and down and up and down for a little bit. Stay consistent. But the most important thing is you don't want to end up right back where you were a few months from now, maybe with even more fat because you went overboard having deprived yourself so much. So the slow, steady approach absolutely wins the race. Social media today is a minefield for vulnerable midlife women who are not quite understanding what's happening with their changing bodies. We are very susceptible to predatory information about fat loss and improving our health. There's a lot of information out there that is just not going to benefit us. Anything that promises quick weight loss or encourages weight loss should be avoided. Anything that encourages cutting out entire food groups, especially food groups that you love, like bread, pasta, carbohydrates, that includes fruits, vegetables, all kinds of things that we need for good health. The carnivore diet in particular, while it does help some people with gut issues temporarily because it can be viewed as an elimination diet, it's not meant to be continued forever, like low FODMAP. Same thing with a high fat or high saturated fat, I should say, ketogenic diet. A combination of ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting is extremely popular among the perimenopause crowd right now, and it's not really doing us any favors. It's not teaching us good long-term strategy for improving our health, particularly our heart health, because what those diets tend to include is quite a lot of saturated fat. And despite what you might see on social media, saturated fat is associated with an increased LDL cholesterol. LDL cholesterol is directly causative of atherosclerotic heart disease. We want to be very careful of anything that is encouraging a lot of saturated fat in the diet and no fiber. These diets simultaneously tell us to not eat a lot of vegetables, it's just the absolute opposite of what we should be doing. And finally, anything that claims to be able to balance your hormones, just avoid it. There is no such thing as a hormone balancing diet. Certainly eating nutritious foods in a really nice, healthy pattern that keeps your blood sugar stable and encourages good sleep, that is going to help your body produce a healthy hormone production, but it doesn't balance your hormone. That's all nonsense. And when it comes to fat loss, your hormones are not preventing you from losing fat. Insulin resistance is not preventing you from losing fat. In fact, quite the opposite. Insulin resistance is created by an accumulation of ectopic and visceral fat in the liver and ultimately the pancreas. So what we want to do to reverse those conditions, insulin resistance and prediabetes, and in some cases, even type 2 diabetes, is lose the ectopic and visceral fat, which is the same strategy as general fat loss. So we want to be super careful of anything that promises quick results, has anything to do with hormones, and encourages very little fiber and a lot of saturated fat.